Leaving the rhetoric, because I saw more people on TV, more politicians on TV yesterday talking about people dying. That this legislation might kill you is what you're being told. And some people are believing this. And so they're rallying out in front of the federal courthouse in Mobile. Now, I actually attended a couple of rallies in front of federal buildings before in the last 10 years, and I don't know that they did any good. I can't remember why I was at a rally. I'm trying to remember, but it must not have been effective, or I might have remembered being there. But it can make you feel better, I think, to be at a rally. All right, look, more in a moment on the Uncle Henry Show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
The drive this morning is off to a very quiet, uneventful start all around the region today. If you're making the trip on I-10, crossing the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, the Causeway, and the Bankhead, and I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw to the I-10, life is moving along very well this morning. No big problems at this very early stage of the morning drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
It's going to be a tranquil Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will be on the hot side, though, as our numbers top at 90 degrees. We've got about a 20% chance of wet weather. For your Wednesday, we'll toss in a 30% chance with a high of 87 and a 50-50 shot for Thursday and Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Listen to News Radio 710 WNTM anywhere on iHeartRadio.
Hey there, people. This is Mark Maron, and I host the podcast WTF with Mark Maron, which is available on iHeartRadio. Honestly, I think we could all listen to each other a little bit more, and I think it's a healthy thing. I listen to all sorts of people, comedians, actors, musicians, directors, writers, even a president. They come into my garage, and we have a conversation about all the big stuff in life. Go check it out, WTF with Mark Maron, right here on iHeartRadio.
Your home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Henry, you still on the radio, huh? Well, I guess they'll let you stay on with that time slot you got. Maybe you ought to start coming on from like 3 in the morning to 5 when everybody's still asleep. Bye.
Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it. Coming up at less than 10 minutes, we're going to talk to NBC News Radio correspondent Bill Zimfer about all these hacking stories that continue to pop up in the news. I don't know if he can answer my question. I don't understand why we can't stop all these hacks. It bothers me. So many things are now online, like banks, financial institutions. We've had all these hackers stealing movies. What if they just decided to wipe out a bunch of bank accounts? That would really talk about going to a rally. I would rally against that. So we'll talk to Bill Zimfer about that coming up in less than 10 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. AL.com decided to do a story yesterday on the former governor of Alabama's final travel records, and the reason they did the story is because when the governor, and I know you're sick of hearing about him, but I'm more interested from a tax dollar standpoint. The reason they did the story is to expose who was the governor's guest when he flew to the inauguration. He used a state plane, state jet, to fly to President Trump's inauguration, and he took his former lady friend and her husband with him, which many of us might find a little odd. And then there was a mystery guest. And the mystery guest is revealed to be a realtor from like Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. But that's not interesting to me. I don't care who the governor's spending his time with. The story also prints out the governor's travel records, how many times he used the state plane, the state jet. And the reason this is interesting to me is because we keep getting told year after year that Alabama's broke, that we can't fix fill in the blank because the state's broke. And if you look at the travel records for the last few months, let's see, January, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 trips on the jet. February, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trips. March, there's way more in March. And a lot of these trips are Montgomery to Tuscaloosa and back. Montgomery to Tuscaloosa and back. So he's using a jet. He was using a jet to commute. And several of these trips, he would have a bodyguard, a protection officer go with him to one city and then send the guard back in the plane all by himself. So instead of driving it would be about a 2-hour drive. So instead of commuting in a vehicle, they would fire up the jet. I guess that's why people want to be governor, so you don't have to sit in traffic. But of course, I find this is a huge insult to anybody that pays a tax in this state.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
Here with Ron of Mobile Bay Coins. Ron, if I'm going to sell a coin or jewelry, what's the best piece of advice you can give me?
Would be shop it around, get multiple offers, make sure you get the most for your item, for your buck. Same thing when you're buying, shop around what people are selling that item for, whether it's gold, silver, estate jewelry items. Make sure you're not paying too much for an item. The thing that sickens me the most is when an estate comes in and we find out that somebody paid sometimes 100 times too much what they could have got the same item for, or they were sold items with great packaging and great boxes, but the items contained therein were worth almost nothing. So shop it around, be smart about it, and come by Mobile Bay Coins. We can make recommendations based on the items you have, your avenues available to you.
So if I understand you correctly, the best piece of advice is shop it around.
Shop it around.
Shop it around. Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown Mobile. Look for them on Facebook. You'll also find them online at mobilebaycoins.com.
The Results Companies, one of the world's largest customer experience providers, is looking to hire over 400 employees at the Mobile site this June. Positions include customer service reps, bilingual customer service reps, sales, supervisor, management, and leadership. You must be comfortable speaking on the phone, being understanding, and most of all, being efficient. On the sales side, Result is looking for persistent, personable, and outgoing individuals. If you're a hardworking individual that loves the customer service and sales industries, please visit theresultscompanies.com to learn more.
Now playing on iHeartRadio. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. From Ramblin' Gamblin' Man to the Fire Inside and beyond. The Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band catalog is...
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life, the mission statement of the CW55. In our final week on the CW55, we're going to be talking with Bill Zimfer of NBC News Radio in just a few moments. And also, in fact, he's calling in now. Coming up, in less than 15 minutes, why is Ariel limping? We'll find out. Yes, this morning when I came to work and saw Ariel walking down the hallway, Ariel was limping. And I see Bill Zimfer trying again to call in. So why is Ariel limping? Now, the regular viewer of the program, maybe you've got a guess. Maybe you, the regular viewer of this show, maybe you've got a guess as to why Ariel is limping. We'll find out in about 10 minutes on the show. We'll find out why Ariel is limping. Could it be related to her pole dancing fitness class? What could have happened on the pole? We'll find out. I never thought that I would ever be talking about what happened on the pole on this show. All right, Bill Zimfer is up next in 1 minute here on the Uncle Henry Show. Quickly letting you know that tonight on the CW55, perhaps you're infirm, maybe you're shut in and you can't get up and change the channel on your television. If you just sit there or lay there for a little over 12 hours, you'll see The Flash at 7 o'clock tonight on the CW55. So that is tonight and it's a rerun, but it's new to you because you know you didn't see it the first time. That's tonight here on the CW55. All right, we're about 30 seconds away from going to Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio, to talk about the threat of hacking. What if, these people keep stealing movies and stuff. What if they decided to just wipe out a bank? Pretty frightening to somebody of my limited intelligence. All right, stand by. Here we go to Bill Zimfer in 15 seconds.
My late week. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show NBC News Radio correspondent Bill Zimfer. Bill Zimfer, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
So if I go to Google News and put the word hack in, wow, it's just page after page after page after page. We had the hacks of government websites over the weekend. We had the UK Parliament hack. The list goes on and on. Bill Zimfer, is there any? I'm worried that one day the hackers are going to get into banks or stock markets or transportation infrastructure. Should I be worried?
Well, I'll tell you what. When you begin to look, when you begin to look at this, and I started the same way as you, where I thought, wow, British Parliament got hacked over the weekend. The Russian hacking thing with the U.S. election has been going on forever. You start looking at hacking around the world, and you don't want to go online very much anymore. You mentioned banks. This has been done. In the last couple of years, there were a couple of attacks. Russian hackers stole almost $1 billion from banks around the world. Back in 2016, something occurred called the SWIFT hack, where hackers in North Korea, they believe, got away with about $81 million from a bank in Africa. So these things have happened, and it's very, very scary, the amount of these things going on. At the Pentagon alone, the Department of Defense alone, they figure that they may get 1 million hack attempts a day to people trying to get into their sites. And, when we talk hacking, we're talking everything from just disruptive things where people might go in and deface a website to ransomware, where these hackers will shut down your operation, then charge you a ransom to get you back online, to all-out thefts by, like we mentioned, to the banks. And that's not even talking about cyber spying by different countries. So it really is overwhelming. There are millions and millions of these incidents going on every day.
I know that a lot of stock trading is done automatically, that there are software programs so that if a stock drops a certain amount, there are automatic sales that happen, which bothers me because if somebody can figure out a way to trigger something like that, you could have a stock market plummet, and we all know that that's something that could take years to recover from.
Absolutely, and the thing is, if you look at these, when hackers are able to infiltrate a network, the average time it takes to find that is about 100 days. So you can imagine how much damage could be done in that amount of time. Now, luckily, a lot of these banks and security firms are really getting up to date and trying to keep up with these hackers. So the security has improved by leaps and bounds over the past 5 years or so. And other good news, too, Henry, if anybody out there has a child or a grandchild that they're worried about their employment future, tell them to get into cybersecurity, because there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of jobs, not only now, but in the near future.
Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. When I look at the stories about hacking, and I just mentioned just almost infinite pages of news stories on it, how many of these hacks are government-sponsored?
Well, that is becoming a problem. If you look at the top hacking countries around the world, number one on the list is China, thought responsible in the latest statistics available for over 40% of the hacking incidents around the world, and China is generally recognized as the country that pioneered state-sponsored hacking groups. While they're not officially linked to the government, they are government-guided and funded. So there are those that are, in China especially, that are state-sponsored hacking operations. Of course, North Korea has a famous one called Bureau 121, that it is just, that's their job, and they're related to the government, is to try to hack into different sites around the world. So it definitely happens, and just so you know, number 2 on the hacking list worldwide, not so much government-operated, although we do have it too, United States. 17% of the hacks worldwide originate in the United States.
So should I wait? Should I be sleepless, stay up late at night worrying about the stock market, my bank account, transportation infrastructure, power grid? Should I be really worried?
I wouldn't worry about it, Henry, but I'll tell you what, you should listen to the advice of people who say change your passwords every so often and keep an eye on your bank accounts, because you're never quite sure. You can never be totally comfortable as long as that stuff is out there.
Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Henry. Have a good day.
You too. Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. I don't know. I don't know that I'm bright enough to understand all the ins and outs of the hacking story. One of the things that confuses me is that we had either a leak or a hack that alleged that our government, the U.S. government, was so good at this stuff that we can make it look like the hack came from elsewhere. So you could allegedly frame somebody else for hacking. And if that technology is out there, if you can frame other people for hacking, then how do we know that China's really number one at hacking? Could it be somebody else, and they've just framed China for being number one at hacking? See, I don't. It's hard for me to grasp it, and I'm glad that other people, younger, smarter people, are handling all of this. All right, you, the radio listener, you're wishing you had actual information, and we're about to give it to you. News, traffic, weather, all of that. TV viewer back in 2 minutes with more Uncle Henry Show.
Now, here's the morning Sean Hannity update.
So last Thursday, CNN.com, they published an unsubstantiated story that connected Anthony Scaramucci to the Russian Direct Investment Fund, once again citing their infamous anonymous sources. And thanks to Breitbart.com and their investigation, well, CNN was forced to retract their story, apologize to my friend Anthony Scaramucci. In an editor's note, links to the story have been disabled. Now, according to Newsbusters, well, CNN, their journalism show, spent more than 5 minutes hate analyzing our friends at Fox and Friends, attacking them because they have access to the president that CNN doesn't deserve and can't get. And by the way, then closing the show with 4 minutes on Trump as an aspiring autocrat, shutting down access to the press. Why not? Press colluded with Hillary. So why should they have any access? I say they shouldn't.
Join Sean later today, right here on the Sean Hannity Show.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings. Because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the main.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life is the mission statement of the CW55. We're here on the Uncle Henry Show in our final week on the CW55 coming up in July. In this time slot, you'll get some infomercials. They might be good. Some of those are really good. Do you remember the one where they had the thing that cut your hair that was a vacuum cleaner? That cut your hair, it sucked your hair. Do you remember this? It sucked your head. Do you remember that? That was good. So you have that to look forward to. You'll learn about new things that you can spend your money on coming up next month, July. This means that on the CW55, we only have a few days left to get updates about Ariel's time at Pole Fitness. Ariel, please join us because Ariel was limping in the hallway. She was limping in the hall. Ariel, good morning to you.
Morning.
What happened at Pole Fitness?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure, I already had a herniated disc, which no doctor has diagnosed this. I Googled it. Let's just be clear. So when I was doing this move last night that kind of requires you to wrap one leg around the pole and lean forward and just kind of spin going forward. Messed my back up. So like my lower back and hip on the right side.
Now you strike me as a young person to have a herniated disc in the back. Do you have anything that you did personally that hurt the back in the past?
Before that, I was lifting weights and doing yoga. So I think the weightlifting and one of those yoga poses kind of messed me up. But I didn't do anything about it until, because it bothered me, but it was like, psh, I can handle this, until yesterday when I spun around that pole and it was like, yep, no, I can't.
Okay, so now what happens? Because you've paid for how long is your contract? A year
yeah, it's a year.
Okay.
Nothing happens. What do you mean? I'm going to keep going to the class.
You're going to stay on the pole even though you've got a herniated disc and it's hurt your back.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. I'm not a chiropractor or an orthopedic doctor, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. You're not worried about further having problems with your back?
I mean, everybody's going to eventually have back problems, right?
Most people are,
You got to live a little. As Drake says, YOLO.
As Drake says. Mm-hmm. So a Drake quote on the Uncle Henry Show.
Right.
What is YOLO mean?
You only live once.
Okay.
There's an entire song, and we'll have to discuss it later because you cannot talk about that song on this station.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to.
Okay.
I'm just impressed. I feel like this adds so much to the show to have a Drake quote because a lot of people that follow me are not familiar with Drake, and so we're enriching the lives of many people. So YOLO, you only live once.
You only live once.
YOLO.
Yeah, that's the motto.
So will you take a day off? Or are you going to go back Thursday night?
Yes, I'll be back Wednesday night.
Wednesday. Are you going to go back Wednesday night to the pole?
Absolutely. I have some moves that I'm trying to perfect. So yes, I'll be back.
Okay. All right. Before we go any further, if you want to learn even more personal details about Ariel, aside from the poll, you can find the recording now of the public affairs show we did over the weekend. That's available at our websites. You can find it at newsradio710.com on the Gulf Coast Focus page. Now, have you put it on your blog, or is it going to go on there today?
It's going on there today.
All right, so if you find Ariel's blog later today, thebeatofmobile.com, you can find a 30-minute show where Ariel is a big part of that show talking about Goodwill Easter seals.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, Ariel, thank you. There she goes. In pain from her herniated disc, but she's not letting... See, I don't know. At my age, if you hurt your back, then you're not sure how many years you've got for it to recover. So at my age, you'd get off the pole for some recovery time. But she's of that age where you're just going to power your way through it and see what happens. I wish the back of Ariel the best. Let's see what else to get into. There was another list of states where they rank states and compare them to each other, where Mississippi's usually at the bottom. Unfortunately, no offense to Mississippi, it was a list of the worst and best states to make a living. And according to this ranking, the worst state to make a living is Hawaii. And California's number 2. So I don't know all the ins and outs of it, because I didn't look further into it, because I'm at an age where I don't want to go anywhere else. So I'll leave that up to you to look into that more. But Hawaii and California, I guess because everybody wants to go there, and it lowers the value of labor, I guess. All right, stand by. We go back to radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk with Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio, about the Supreme Court ruling on the travel ban yesterday, being interpreted as a win for the Trump administration. Meanwhile, there was some global survey of 40,000 people that is being talked about in the news that has people of the world upset with President Trump, that they do not like the president and they do not like the United States of America because of President Trump. Now, maybe I'm going to be the first one. I'm sure you're already thinking it. Well, maybe you aren't, but I'm not really concerned. I think we've got enough to worry about without worrying about what the other nations are thinking right now. No offense to the other nations. But this is a survey from Pew Research Center. 37 nations were surveyed, 40,000 people. At the end of the Obama administration, 64% of these nations, people surveyed, had a favorable view of our country. That's dropped now to 49%. Mexico, as you might imagine, we've plummeted there big time due to talking about the wall and them paying for it. But it's not really, I don't, personally, I'm not too worried. I think even if these countries are upset, they still want to do business with us because the dollar is the dollar. So I'm not really that worried. And when trouble pops up, these other countries almost always turn to us for something. So this will change. The favorability ratings will change. All of that will change, and it's not something that I would not lose any sleep over the fact that only 30% of the people of Mexico feel favorably toward the U.S. Many of them still would like to come here, so it can't be that bad. All right, for the radio listener, traffic and weather together. We have that for you every 10 minutes on the 9s. And for the TV viewer, we'll be back in just 2 minutes with more Uncle Henry Show. Joe Gomez will talk to us about the Supreme Court coming up in about 10 minutes.
Saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volkswagen Traffic Center.
It has been a very quiet, uneventful start to the traffic morning all around our area this morning with no big accidents, breakdowns, or heavy delays on the board, at least for the time being. We do have an awful lot of road work, though, in Fairhope. Battles Road remains closed between Section Road and Highway 98, impassable for drainage. That project's expected to run through the end of July. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope. But you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
It's going to be a tranquil Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will be on the hot side, though, as our numbers top at 90 degrees. We've got about a 20% chance of wet weather. For your Wednesday, we'll toss in a 30% chance with a high of 87 and a 50-50 shot for Thursday and Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Your better workday starts with a better variety from the 80s to now. Listen while you work to the Gulf Coast Mix 99.9. You'll find us on iHeartRadio.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Let's talk to Jill. Hello, Jill. Good morning.
Good morning, Henry.
Yes.
I hope you're very blessed today.
I am. Thank you. I hope the same for you.
Thank you. I am. I'm calling you about two different issues. One is, of course, I'm in Orange Beach, and every day down here, 5 and 6 times a day, these first responders are trying to find lost children on the beach. And I'm just asking, I'm begging these parents to watch out for your children. These little things are precious, and they get disoriented from the water and the heat and the sand and all the people. And, yesterday we had one disappear, a 5-year-old, for over 2 hours, and of course they found her, but thank God. But they've just got to do this because I've lost my children in department stores.
Right. One day, all of the children will be microchipped like pets. And we'll just look on our phone and find the child. We'll follow the microchip.
Well, I do have my pet's microchip.
Of course. And one day they'll do it to little children, and you'll be able to find them.
Well, I just can't stand it. I mean, this is one of my pet peeves. The other thing on Hawaii and California, cost of living over there are out west, and in those two states is extremely high. Real estate's awfully high.
Right, real estate, the tax burden, and so many people want to live in a place like Hawaii. Employers can pick and choose from the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I know it, and I flew that run for years, and I looked at property over there. In fact, John and I were going to invest in some property, but we didn't do it because he got killed. or went missing or whatever happened to him. But no, he was killed. But I think it's a beautiful place to go. I wouldn't want to live there. And I love California. I love this country. Everybody knows that. And as far as the president, I'm going to touch on him real quick. What he's doing with these tweets and how he campaigned has turned a lot of people against him. And he's just got to stop tweeting and take over and be a leader. He's not a king. And that's what I got to say today.
All right. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill. And thank you for mentioning the president's tweets. I need to look. I love it when he tweets during the show. That means I don't have to think. I can just report the tweets, and my job is done. So I'll be looking, let's see, looking for his Twitter account. But I want him to tweet as much as possible. It really, it's wonderful in my industry. You talk about, you hope that I have a blessed day. It's a blessing when he's tweeting during the show, because I can just turn the brain off and go on autopilot. And he's already tweeted. He tweeted 10 minutes ago, Jill. Here's our first tweet of the day from the president. Thank you, Jill. The tweet reads, wow. CNN had to retract big story on Russia with 3 employees forced to resign. What about all the other phony stories they do? Fake news. Thank you, Jill, for telling me to turn to Donald Trump's Twitter. All right, coming up, the Supreme Court, their ruling yesterday on the travel ban. We'll get into that with Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temporary crown, and it fit perfectly. Dr. Brown has a family-friendly practice. He offers a wide range of services, including cleanings, whitening, cosmetic bonding, the same-day crowns I just told you about, veneers, bridges, dentures, partials. He restores implants. If you're a new patient, you can get a new patient appointment within just a few days. Remember the name. It's H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. Call him at 251-342-5636. While his website is under construction, you can look for him on Facebook. Look for H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. Dentist on Facebook.
Coming off of a beautiful and emotional Memorial Day holiday, it's unofficially summertime. The time to get into Harley-Davidson of Pensacola and ride away today with no money down and no payments until New Year's Day 2018. It's happening right now at the dealership, and that's where you'll get details. Also online at PensacolaHarley.com. And right now at the dealership, they have 9 bikes under 12 grand, all for $0 down. Make this the best summer ever with a trip into Harley-Davidson of Pensacola.
Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. Angelo, do you really buy coins?
We certainly do, Uncle Henry, and that's one thing a lot of people, I guess, just don't realize is, yes, we do free appraisals, yes, we inspect your jewelry, and we do all these other cool things, but if you come in with a coin collection and you want to sell it, that offer we're making you is the amount of money we're going to give you.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life, the mission statement of the CW55. Our final week of Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. Beginning next week, beginning in July, from 5 to 6 a.m., you'll have infomercials. So be prepared for that. That'll be a big bonus in your life. Before Joe Gomez calls in, Ariel, could you join me here briefly? Because I'm curious, as a young person, infomercials have probably always been a part of Ariel's life.
Yeah, they have.
Do you have a favorite infomercial?
Yes.
Which one is it?
the Time Life, whenever they do one, they always have the best commercials. Have you ever seen those?
Well, the ones for all their music?
Yeah.
They do a very good job with that. It's almost like a show.
Yes, and then they have like this little celebrity host that's probably somebody most of the time I have to Google because I don't know them. And they're sitting there selling these Time Life classic hits. It's so great.
Yeah, well, it is...
that and the ShamWow guy.
Let's hope for the people watching the CW55 that they get something like that.
Right.
That they get some elderly music star to walk them down memory lane.
Either that or the ShamWow guy. He's great to watch.
All of those are good.
Yeah.
All right, Ariel, thank you. We're watching for Joe Gomez of NBC News Radio. He'll be calling in. So, infomercials from 5 to 6 so you can learn about the world in which you live in and learn where to spend your money. And then from 6 to 7 on the CW55 beginning next week, an hour of back-to-back Andy Griffith, which is, it's worth watching. Even if you've seen each episode 100 times, it's still worth watching it the 101st time because you're different. You've grown. You're bringing something new to the episode. You may have felt one way about Opie when you were Opie's age, but then when you became a parent yourself, maybe you have a different attitude toward the behaviors of Opie. And then later when you become a grandparent, you have there's Joe Gomez. Then when you become a grandparent, maybe you've got a different perspective on the behaviors of Opie. Maybe you think Andy's too tough on Opie once you become a grandparent. So that's coming up next week on the CW55, Dare to Defy. All right, we're about to go back to radio here and take the TV show and splice it into radio. Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, is standing by to talk about the president and the Supreme Court and all that stuff. Here we go.
10 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. Big day at the Supreme Court yesterday. We've got Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio, with us. Joe Gomez, good morning.
Good morning.
So it was declared as a victory, this travel ban ruling, where the Supreme Court has decided that they're going to hear full arguments later on it. Now, is it really the victory that it's being painted to be for the president?
Well, I mean, it's a short-term victory. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. But look, I mean, the president basically gets the majority of his travel ban back in effect. There is, I guess, a little bit of a clause there that the Supreme Court added. They are allowing the 90-day ban on people coming into the U.S. from 6 mostly Muslim countries to go back into effect based on a lack of any kind of bona fide relationship that those immigrants might have with a person or entity in the United States. So that language is coming under a microscope. What exactly is a bona fide relationship? Does that mean somebody who is married to somebody in the country, somebody who has a close relative, somebody who's employed? A lot of that's going to be left up to the Department of Homeland Security to interpret, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of immigrant rights groups that are going to be filing suit or are going to be attempting litigation in the meantime to try to interpret what bona fide relationship actually means.
And also there's going to be the arguments about whether or not the president has the power to do this, and if his campaign speeches can be even looked at as a reason to stop him from doing it. There's a lot of issues tied up into this, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, and so I think that the law, and then you have the other angle here, which is that, okay, the 90-day ban gets to go into effect on Thursday. Well, if that happens, we're just a little bit over 90 days until we get to October, which is when the Supreme Court's going to hear the case. Well, conceivably by October, the 90-day ban will be over, and I guess the Trump administration will be able to put in place any kind of vetting procedures that it needs on immigrants coming from these 6 mostly Muslim countries. So would it then be moot at that point? Would the Supreme Court even be considering to hear the case if the case is no longer going to be worth taking a look at because the 90-day ban is over. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen.
Well, I guess it will be only in the sense of a lot of people think that they're putting forward the argument that this is a presidential power that is kind of an absolute power that you can't, whatever your reasons, you can't stop a president from doing something like this. And so this is something that will need to be settled for future presidents dealing with any other situation they want to stop people from coming here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it probably will do that. I mean, it's in the short term at least, and maybe it also could have the impact of maybe kind of souring the United States, I guess, reputation abroad or in some of these countries as well. So one other thing the Supreme Court did was keep fully intact the 120-day ban on all refugees coming into the United States, and then looking at this 3-page opinion by Judge Neil Gorsuch, Samuel Alito Jr., and Clarence Thomas. They said they would have allowed Trump's travel ban to take effect without regard to a foreign national's connection to the U.S. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a hint that for those that are going to be opposing the travel ban in October or anything similar to that, they're probably going to have a tough road ahead.
Now, the travel ban, is it going to be implemented? Is it already under effect, or is it like a day or two before they start actually using it?
Okay, so I think they gave them 72 hours to begin implementing the ban. So that was on Monday. So by Thursday, they could begin implementing this, which means you might be seeing a run at the airports or protests at the airports.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, Joe Gomez. When it goes into effect, we kind of know how this is going to go, where people are going to show up at the airports, and also the media is going to see if anybody's getting stopped from coming in at the airports.
Yeah, so, I mean, this could really cause a lot of confusion, especially going into the 4th of July weekend holiday, right? Because the 4th of July is obviously next Tuesday. It's going to be a very busy travel time at the airport. So I don't know if DHS is going to wait maybe until after the holiday to enact this or exactly what they're going to do.
One more thing before you go. Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. While we've been talking, the president just tweeted, and his newest tweet is a retweet, and it's a logo of Are you looking at it?
I'm looking at it right now.
It's for the radio listener. It's the CNN logo, but someone has reworked it to be FNN Fake News Network. So the president is trolling CNN here early in the morning.
Wow. Well, big time. I mean, this happened obviously after CNN had to retract that story, some Russia story they were doing about a Trump administration official, a campaign official, and then 3 employees resigned. But yeah, and big, and the biggest picture I think I've seen posted on his Twitter account, FNN, Fake News Network.
Absolutely. Hey, Joe Gomez, I know you've got to run. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks.
There he goes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. Yes, the CNN, FNN Fake News Network logo retweeted by President Trump this morning. And that story, we haven't touched on it, but there was a Russia connection story that CNN over the weekend had to retract, and they even apologized for the story. And the result of it was they were going to change their procedures at CNN, and 3 people resigned. One of the people that resigned, I think, was a Pulitzer Prize winner. So big impact there at CNN for the Russia story that they had to retract and apologize for. And it, of course, plays into the whole fake news narrative. So President Trump had fake news from CNN that can be proven to be fake. He's got a win at the Supreme Court. He had his candidate won in Georgia last week. So it's been the last 7 or 8 days have been pretty good for the president compared to previous weeks. All right, more to come. Uncle Henry Show.
Uncle Henry here for Window World. I became a highly satisfied customer of Window World about 3 years ago when I needed replacement windows for my house. I was attracted to Window World because of their great offer. A vinyl double-hung replacement window for $189. Now, that product was such a good value, and the installers were so professional, I became a big fan of Window World. I got them to replace all my windows and also put up storm doors. Window World has high-quality windows in a variety of styles and shapes, and those windows come with a lifetime limited warranty. And Window World also does other products like doors, vinyl siding, garage doors, hurricane products like impact windows, fabric panels, and shutters, and so much more. Find out for yourself. Visit them online at windowworldgulfcoast.com or call today for a free in-home estimate. 251-665-4646. That's 251-665-4646. Window World.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Google says it's reviewing a decision and weighing an appeal after losing its biggest regulatory battle yet, getting a record $2.7 billion fine from European Union enforcers who say the search giant skewed results in its favor to thwart smaller price comparison services. An order from the EU Commission says that Google has 90 days to, quote, stop its illegal conduct, and if it doesn't comply, it risks fines of up to 5% of its daily revenue. Critics in the U.S. claim regulators are targeting successful American firms. Shares of Google parent Alphabet are moving lower in pre-market trading this morning. Stock futures are little changed to lower. The NASDAQ futures are down 23 points. S&P futures are down 2. Dow futures are down 18. NYMEX crude is up 1% at $43.84 a barrel on estimates that U.S. crude inventories continued their decline from record levels seen earlier this year. Gina,
your home for Rush. Weekdays at 11. News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile. An iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listener is hearing news, traffic, weather, and all that kind of stuff. Right now it's me and you and Ariel, the video producer of the Uncle Henry Show. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. In the last hour, by the way, this is our final week on the CW55. Next week, the CW55 will replace the Uncle Henry Show with an hour of infomercials and an hour of back-to-back episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, which who could argue with that? Now, there's a story that I've mentioned this morning about the best and worst states to make a living, where states were ranked. In case you were wondering about Alabama, Alabama is number 32. So in the bottom half, but not at the very bottom. And let's see, where is Florida, because we do have, I've had some people from Florida contact me, and Florida is number 33. So Alabama's number 32, Florida's number 33, so we're kind of close there. Mississippi is number 41 near the bottom of best places to make a living. Worst state to make a living is Hawaii, and next to the worst is California, and that has to do with high cost of living, high taxes. And I'm thinking that the job market must be much, much more competitive there because so many people want to live out there. People visit Hawaii and think, wow, wouldn't it be great to live here? Well, not a great, it's the worst place to try and make a living due to the high cost of living, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Cliff has some comments on this topic. Cliff, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Uncle.
Yes.
I just found out that Alaska has the same problems with everything being high.
Yes.
But staying in Hawaii, if you don't live there, it's kind of productive because the 6 months I worked there, the per diem, the cost of living being high, the per diem was $1,500 a week.
All right, so you're saying if you want to work in Hawaii, you should do it as a non-resident?
Yes, sir. I mean, the hotels and everything, we were staying at the Ala Moana, one of the 4-star hotels, but everything is paid for, and you also receive, I guess, the $1,500 per diem is just for, you know, things that you might need, which is, you know, that nobody eats that much food a week.
Well, that sounds. I'm ready to sign up.
I think I'll be going back by August to work over there a year. They got a project going over there for a year.
Okay. Well, Cliff, I wish you the best. That sounds fantastic.
You be blessed.
You be blessed too. Thank you. So Cliff has figured it out. This would be called a hack. It's a Hawaii hack. He's figured out a way to hack the Hawaii job market, and that is to not be a resident there, to be working as a non-resident. Sounds good, Cliff. I'm sure that there is, when you're listening to the radio or watching TV, there will be an Uncle Henry equivalent in Hawaii that you can find to listen to. But yes, I'm very pleased that Alabama's not at the bottom of the list. Usually, unfortunately, we're kind of clumped down there, but we're not there. So glad of that. By the way, best states to make a living on the list, Washington State is number 1, followed by Minnesota, Illinois, Texas, and Colorado. Now, Illinois, there have been a lot of stories about Illinois running out of money, so that may change dramatically. They may end up going up on their taxes dramatically in Illinois to try and save their state. All right, stand by. We go back to radio.
All access powered by Napster. Go to iHeartRadio.com now to upgrade.
From the Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios, this is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. A lovely morning. Humidity not as high as it was last week, so that's always a plus for people like me that are weather-oriented. If you'd like to contact me, email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. I noticed that there was a rally in Mobile at the federal courthouse yesterday. It had to do with the health care, the Republican health care plan. People worried about the health care of the country. And I can tell why people are worried, because I did turn on the news yesterday for a little while, and I saw more leaders on TV claiming that people were going to die, that the Republican health care plan was going to kill people. It doesn't happen often that now we hear about lousy laws all the time. In fact, many of us live under some lousy laws. It's rare that people come out and say, this law is going to kill you. But a lot of these leaders were on TV talking about people are going to die. So naturally, some people are going to watch this. They trust the people on TV that tell them that they're going to die. And so if I thought I was going to die, I might go rally against my death. So we did have that. We had people that were rallying against the possibility of their death at the federal courthouse, and there were a few elected officials there to speak at the rally. Now let me go into the email inbox. I've got an email on the topic. Subject line on the email is deadly health care bill. Email reads, terrific Tuesday to you, Henry. Yes, I think the health care bill could kill you. If someone took the however many pages and then hit you over the head with it, I think it could deliver a fatal blow. And that email from the Common Man. Common Man, thank you very much for your email. Yes, most legislation on the federal level is big. If you were to print it out and then you use it as a weapon to bludgeon somebody, it would be very dangerous. So thank you, Common Man, for your email. I see that we do have a healthcare expert. Bert is on the phone. So Bert, hang on, Bert. Bert is a healthcare expert. We're going to get Bert on the air to talk about healthcare. Bert, hang on. The Uncle Henry Show continues. First, for the radio listener, traffic and weather together. Every 10 minutes on the nines. Back in 2 minutes for TV and radio.
Time saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Most of the Mobile County roadways that had been closed when the water rose last week have now reopened to traffic. That includes Lott Road from the Escatawpa Bridge to Brown Blankenship Road. In the Fowl River area, Dolphin, Bream, Bass, Perch all open, and Mason Ferry Road reopened to traffic as well. So much better news on that front. No big accidents or breakdowns at this early stage. With time saver traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at unbound.org.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
It's going to be a tranquil Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will be on the hot side, though, as our numbers top at 90 degrees. We've got about a 20% chance of wet weather. For your Wednesday, we'll toss in a 30% chance with a high of 87 and a 50-50 shot for Thursday and Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the nines every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. Here's Proverbs 20:4, the King James Version. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing. The New International Version. A sluggard does not plow in season, so at harvest time he looks but finds nothing. Proverbs 20:4.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. The president continues to tweet this morning, which is wonderful. I don't have to think. I can just report the tweets. I'll get to that later. He's mostly retweeting. A lot of it is trolling CNN. We'll get to that. But first, Bert. Bert, thank you for holding, and good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. I would like to tell all your listeners how President Trump could solve 90% of what's wrong with health care in this country with an executive order.
Okay, please.
Fire everybody or almost everybody at the FDA and replace them with people who don't have any financial ties to the pharmaceutical industry. Because the reason health care costs keep going up is that the most expensive remedy, which is almost always also the least effective remedy and the most toxic, is the only one the FDA allows, because that's the remedy that makes the most money for the drug companies. Now, my own example, I remember talking to you about I had been told that I needed a knee replacement.
Okay.
I had two choices: either get on stronger and stronger painkillers or solving the problem that causes the pain. And I've been told that the only way to solve it is to get a knee replacement. But another doctor told me what you need to do is take calcium supplements and vitamin D3. Well, I followed that last recommendation, and for the last year, I have been able to put off the knee replacement. I can't say that I'll never have to have it, but I have solved the problem that's causing the pain. If everybody was told you need to take this supplement or this herb or whatever that doesn't cost $100,000 and you'll solve the problem, then health care costs would go through the floor.
Well, Bert, thank you for that perspective. I knew you'd have one due to your extensive medical history, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you for taking my call, Uncle Henry.
Okay, supplements and herbs. Ariel, do you take an herb? You don't? Do you take any supplements? They didn't advise you to use supplements for pole fitness? All right. If, Bert, you would be proud. If you came to my kitchen, you would see so many bottles with so many different vitamins, so, all of them claiming to do something. Now, you can look at me and tell that a lot of them don't work. Just by looking at me, I would look a lot better. But I'd still try. I still take a lot of various and different supplements, wishing that they would do something for me. Well, I'm glad that Bert has been able to avoid a knee replacement by taking some vitamins. Isn't that what we all wish for, is a pill that doesn't cost $50 that might help something? I would like a pill to make me smarter, thinner, taller. I'll settle for that. All right. More to come. The president's Twitter and many other things to get to as we continue.
Hey, for security, alarm systems, cameras, monitoring, and more, call TSI Alarms and Audio. Call 251-662-0500 or online at thetsigroup.com. TSI Alarms and Audio.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. And it's about to get worse. The IRS just hired an army of new tax enforcers. So, if you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop that army of new enforcers from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $500 million of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm here with John McNeil of McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. John, what's the most important thing you and the other partners at McNeil Aarons and Lambert do for your clients?
Uncle Henry, I think two of the most important things we do is, one, design a comprehensive plan for their retirement, which includes where their money should be invested and how much and how long their income will last. Most people that come to us have never had a written plan. We call this your retirement roadmap, and it costs nothing for us to design a plan specifically for you. Number two, I think educating them on how our plan we designed for them will address their two biggest fears, which are running out of money and how to pay for long-term care. Our plans address these and other concerns they may have.
If you want to find out more, call.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in our last week on the CW55. Ariel, please join me here. We're going to be on the radio in just a few minutes. I know that during the show, Ariel, while she's also producing video rapidly and expertly, she also looks ahead to find things to blog about and talk about on the Beat of Mobile, 100.3 FM, The Beat, thebeatofmobile.com. Have you found anything yet this morning for your show?
So far, I found Jay-Z is having an album release party in a bunch of Sprint stores.
Okay.
So that's pretty interesting.
Jay-Z, he's got new little children, and he's also releasing a Jay-Z album.
Yes, 444. It's the first, and I'm trying to remember how long. It's been a couple years since Jay-Z released an album.
How do you rank Jay-Z?
Jay-Z he hasn't had a good album since The Blueprint.
And that was when?
2003, I think.
Okay, so it's been a while since he's done something that you think is a good.
Yeah, I mean, Watch the Throne was decent, but it's nothing that when I lost it off my phone, I didn't go re-download it.
Okay. All right, you don't get this on any other show. An analysis of Jay-Z's output. Right. I did see that there's been a new statement from Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, thank goodness we don't play any of that mess.
Miley Cyrus is now saying to the world that she already declared herself genderless.
Oh, good for her.
But now she is saying that she also is ageless and a spirit soul, not even divided by human being.
Okay.
There's no me and them. There's no us and you. I just want to be nothing, is what her new quote is. So Miley Cyrus is now a spirit creature, not even a human being.
Sounds like a lot of drugs were involved in that decision.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
I am nothing. Okay, good for you.
All right, well, Ariel, thank you very much. I know that probably can't be used on the beat of Mobile.com, that Miley Cyrus has declared herself a spirit being. Although she probably still wants the checks to come in, because there is not a lot of money in being a spirit being. So she will have to be a solid being from time to time. Maybe ageless and genderless, but she'll still need to earn something to give her the freedom to be some type of spirit being, not even human. All right, we're about to go back on radio, so stand by.
For Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. You can also watch for now on the CW55 and on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. The president has been tweeting this morning, providing me with I don't have to think now, so that's good. The president tweeting about CNN. Now, you may have noticed a story over the weekend that CNN had to retract a story. They had a story that linked, I believe it's a Donald Trump associate with Russia. They put the story online. Then not only did they retract it, they apologized for it. In many cases, these stories just disappear and there's no mention of it. But they actually apologized for this one. Then they made a statement that it didn't go through their normal chain of command, and that they were going to change all that. And then yesterday we get word that 3 people resigned, and they were not just underlings. They were, I guess at CNN, semi-prominent. One of them was a former Pulitzer Prize winner. So the president tweeted earlier this morning, he tweeted, "Wow, CNN had to retract big story on Russia with 3 employees forced to resign. What about all the other phony stories they do? Fake news." Then his next tweet was a retweet of someone that had put together a logo of FNN. It looks like the CNN logo, but it's FNN, Fake News Network. Then he also retweeted something from Fox and Friends about a story about collusion among the Democrats. Then he also retweeted something from Fox and Friends from Sean Hannity about Russian allegations boomeranging back on the Democrats. And he just, as I was speaking, retweeted again something from Fox and Friends about Loretta Lynch meddling in the investigation of Hillary Clinton's server. So the president is doing a lot of retweeting this morning, and a lot of it from Fox and Friends. I wonder how that changes the way you perform. If you work at Fox and Friends and you know the president's watching in the morning and retweeting you, how does that's got to change how you do your job. If you know the president is watching and may even be retweeting you, are you tempted to send a message out to the president or talk directly to him? I wonder if you get a bonus if you're in charge of the Fox and Friends Twitter, if they give you a bonus if the president retweets you. That's a pretty good retweet. All right, well, I'll keep you up to date. I know that I'm sure that you just love Donald Trump's Twitter feed. So I will keep you up to date as we move forward. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. I do have an email that has come in on a completely different topic. Subject line on the email is Tide Football Countdown. Email reads, "Good morning, Uncle Henry. I've grown weary of all the unpleasant, fake, and ridiculous news reports going around these days. For some people, this might be a bit early, but the countdown for Tide football is now only 10 Saturdays away, or about 67 days. I'm so ready for the Red Elephants to hit the field again. Very much excited about their offensive potential. Have a great day. My Bama brother." Roll Tide Roll in that email from Bama Big Man. Bama Big Man, thank you for calling me your Bama brother. And no, it's not too early. 10 Saturdays away. That's exciting. That's wonderful news. So thank you, Bama Big Man. Thank you, Bama Big Man. Let's talk to Cut. Hello, Cut. Good morning.
Hey, Henry. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Great. I wanted to tell you about a little story that I was involved in during Memorial Weekend. Took a trip to Houston, a golf trip with some buddies of mine. We went over to visit some friends, and we stayed over there the weekend, and we played golf. And when I was there, when we weren't playing golf, we were back at someone's house or whatever, eating and drinking and whatever. But the TV was on. These guys were into CNN. They kept the channel on CNN. And they just love that Maddow woman, and they didn't have anything positive to say about Donald Trump. And I thought about what Rush Limbaugh had brought up about these people being so rabid against the president because of they sit there and they watch CNN and MSNBC the whole time. And now, when we look at what's going on, when everything about Russia is proven not to be true, now they're disappointed. So it's I actually witnessed these people being so fired up because of CNN and MSNBC, and it was a
Cut. We're on the break, but thank you for telling us your tale of CNN.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Shares of Google parent Alphabet are moving lower in pre-market trading, down just over 1% before the opening bell, after Google lost its biggest regulatory battle yet, getting a record $2.7 billion fine. This came from European Union enforcers who said the search engine giant skewed results to thwart smaller shopping search services. The two largest U.S. cable companies have met with executives at Sprint in the past month to talk about reselling wireless services or an acquisition. According to people familiar with the matter, the more likely scenario is that Comcast and Charter strike a deal that lets them resell services on Sprint's wireless network. Stock futures are slipping this morning. S&P futures are down 3 points, Dow futures down 25, NASDAQ futures are down 27, NYMEX crude oil is up 0.9% at $43.77 a barrel. The move higher is coming on estimates that U.S. inventories continued their decline from record levels seen earlier this year. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
When I adopted her, she was a mess. Scabs, itching, licking, missing fur, hot spots, a thin, dull coat. So I take the dog to the vet for the standard run-of-the-mill tests and treatments. No results. I hear your advertisement on the radio.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000. So I get the 5-pound box of Dinovite and the Lico Chops within a 4-week total. Instead of a German Setter, I have a German Shepherd. Sheba is a 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life because she gets fed Dinovite. And the results, they're just incredibly outstanding. And she loves it. When you rescue a dog, you have to do the right thing. You've got to feed him right for life. Do the Dinovite. Dinovite for life.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. Our final week on the CW55 next week. If you tune in at this time on the CW55, it'll be back-to-back episodes of The Andy Griffith Show. Very exciting. I know this is what you crave. It'll be another chance to watch the same episode again, and you'll find things you missed. I think that when you watch, you'll find that Barney, if you're blessed enough to have Barney episodes, I hope they don't replace this show with like the later episodes that are Goober and no offense to Goober, George Goober-Lindsey, a great Alabamian, but still, the older I get, the more I reflect on Goober and think of him as a tragic character, kind of there are episodes, they do episodes about Goober unable to find a mate because he's Goober, and that's sad. It's sad. And also Howard Sprague, unable to find a suitable mate because he's Howard Sprague. I just don't find the comedy in it. It's more of a pathetic thing, the lives of Goober and the lives of Howard Sprague. So I hope that when they replace this show with Andy Griffith, you get early episodes with very young Opie and Barney Fife running around. Those are more, I think, beneficial to the soul, certainly. Let me bring Ariel in because we haven't talked about it in an hour. Ariel's having a rough morning, I believe. Now, she might not say that because she's a very cheerful, upbeat person no matter what.
I try to be.
But you appear to be in physical discomfort.
Yes.
You've been limping around. In fact, when I went into your, just a few minutes ago, I went into Ariel's studio just to express my own physical infirmities. And Ariel, you looked like you were almost in physical pain as you sat there.
I am. I am in some serious pain right now.
Now how did you hurt tell people that weren't watching an hour ago how you hurt yourself.
So before I even started pole classes, I was lifting weights and doing yoga, and I think I ended up with a herniated disc in my back. So yesterday, while I was in class, I had to do this move where one of my legs was wrapped around the pole, and I had to fall forward and to spin around. And it took a lot of, upper body and back strength to kind of keep myself upright to do the move correctly. And I hurt my back very, very badly.
Now, did people have to help you there at the pole class?
No. I did it by myself, but I was in some serious pain.
That just back pain can really, it can affect everything.
Yeah, it's almost at the point to where I want to throw up. That's how horrible it is.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Well,
Yeah,
if you in about 30 minutes, if you need to go,
nah, I'll
feel
tough it out.
free.
I'll be all right.
All right. Now, are you on something for it? Have you taken ibuprofen or other products like that?
No, I didn't realize I could take something for that. I just figured it was like one of those things you suffer through.
Well, yeah, but an anti-inflammatory might help.
Huh.
I'm no doctor, but
Right. I
We-
didn't even think about that.
we've got ibuprofen in the building.
I might have to look into that. Is
Okay.
it the good stuff or is it that cheap stuff that all companies have in a first aid kit?
It's the cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah,
It's
figured.
it's the cheap stuff that's the kind of stuff that companies have in the first aid kit and that people my age buy.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
generally doesn't do anything.
Oh, now you don't know
It's like
that.
a placebo. No, I absolutely know
I
that.
I believe in the placebo effect. I take a lot of things, Ariel, that I'm not sure they do anything, but
Right.
the placebo effect is real when it comes to me.
I believe it.
So I take it.
Not
Placebo
so much
effect.
for me. Not so much for me.
How do you determine then if you're taking something that really works?
Because it works. If the pain goes away, then it works.
Okay.
But if it stays, then I already know this is like a water pill.
All right. So are you going to try some of the cheap stuff?
Probably not. I haven't eaten breakfast yet, so it's probably a really, really bad idea to take that on an empty stomach.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you feel better.
Eventually.
Okay. There she goes. Let me know if you need a chiropractor. I know a very good one in town that has helped me with a variety of ailments. All right, well, now for those of you that have been thinking about taking the pole dancing class, we'll have to ask Ariel before the end of the half hour, how many other people have been injured at the pole dancing class? All right, so, we're about to go on to radio again here in just a moment. So, and right now all I can it's hard for me to get my mind back in gear to talk about news items. I'll eventually get there. All right, stand by.
KO or call us at 251-626-0594.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. AL.com had a final story. Well, I say final because I keep hoping there are no new stories on Governor Dr. Bentley, and I know you're sick of hearing about him. But I feel I've got to mention this just because it drives me crazy. The governor's travel records were put forward on AL.com from the final 3 months from January, February, and March. His travel records where he is flying in the jet, the state jet. And the reason this is interesting to me is that I don't care. Forget what he did or didn't do with ladies. Let's forget all of that. We've been told how broke Alabama is. We're just as broke as we can be. But he's got a jet. And you look at the flight records, and the governor used his jet the way most of us would use a car. Let me count the flights in March. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trips. 13 trips in the jet in March. And most of these are Tuscaloosa to Montgomery, Montgomery to Tuscaloosa. Some of these, the governor goes with a protection officer and then sends the protection officer back by himself in the jet. Now, how long does it take to drive from Montgomery to Tuscaloosa? It's about 2 hours. So the governor's too important. He's too important. His time is too valuable to drive for 2 hours. And then the taxpayer has to pay for all these jet rides. And think about it. Some of these, the governor's not on the return flight. So he's taken a jet so he can commute to his house. And then he sends it back with one guy on it. It is such a disrespectful thing to do to the taxpayer this is to me as bad or worse than the other stuff he was doing. It just shows a general disrespect for the office, a disrespect for the money that hardworking people put in to state government. It's just disgusting. Just had to get that off my chest. I know you probably could care less, but the idea that he's riding around on that jet over and over and over and over and over again when we're supposed to be broke. Sickening.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
Utility work in Mobile still has Virginia Street closed between Dexter and Broad. That is expected to run through July. No big accidents and breakdowns presently. It's been a very quiet start on that front. I-10 coming across the Bayway between the Eastern Shore and the Wallace Tunnel, the Causeway and the Bankhead, and the trip on I-65, all in good shape at this still early hour. With time saver traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
It's going to be a tranquil Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will be on the hot side, though, as our numbers top at 90 degrees. We've got about a 20% chance of wet weather. For your Wednesday, we'll toss in a 30% chance with a high of 87 and a 50-50 shot for Thursday and Friday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
A Democrat and a Republican. It's the same thing. It's the same. Look at Governor Dr. Robert Bentley.
Message deleted. Press 4.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. And for watching it on the CW55 and on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. I saw some news. We've been watching with interest. Well, maybe you haven't. But me and the voices in my head, we've been watching with interest the expansion of Amazon. We had the story, was it last week or the week before, about Amazon buying Whole Foods. And you then have to wonder, what will this mean? Now, a few years ago, you may not have thought it would have meant anything. But now, with so many things shifting to delivery, buying online and it getting delivered to your house, you have to wonder, what will this mean for grocery stores? Will we start shifting toward that, where you'll be getting your Spam and your toilet paper delivered to you instead of going and enjoying going through the grocery store? I see the story. There's been an analysis by a retail think tank saying that the number of retail outlets that have closed this year is triple what it was last year. The second worst year on record at the 6-month mark. The worst year ever for stores, for retail stores closing, was 2008. And we all remember 2008. And a lot of this is, the economy is not, we're seeing a lot of positive things in the economy, but the store closings, many people are pointing to the shift to online shopping. And how much of this is being driven by Amazon? Not only did Amazon buy Whole Foods, so what will this mean for grocery stores? They've also started up this new thing. We talked about it last week, where they want to set it up where you'll buy your clothes from them, that you can try it on. You keep it for a week. They send it to you, you try it on. You keep it. If it fits, and if it doesn't, you send it right back. Now, if this catches on, and so far everything they've done has caught on, hasn't it? So if it catches on, what will malls end up being? Recreational centers? It's really something to think about. Now, I don't buy a lot of clothes, as you can tell by looking at me. But what will this all mean? More retail closings, triple the closings this year than of last year. All right, more in a moment on the Uncle Henry Show.
While they were watching,
Obama spying on Americans.
You were listening. Keep on listening.
It's so sick.
Sean Hannity, 2 till 5. News Radio 710, WNTM.
The folks at Mobile Bay Harley want to see you on a Harley-Davidson. They're so serious that they're offering a $1,000 gift card with the purchase of any pre-owned Harley. That's right, they're willing to pay you to ride one home. Catch Bike Nights on Thursday the 22nd and every other Thursday following as you join them for free food, drinks, and live entertainment. Stop in on any Saturday in June and enjoy a free barbecue and a brew as you take a look around the showroom. So what are you waiting for? Come by Mobile Bay Harley, where there's always a party.
Do you need a job? Are you stuck in a job you don't really like? You want to make more money? If you answered yes to any of these questions, your local Alabama Career Center can help you. Call or visit your local Career Center today, where professionals will help you with your resume, let you practice interviewing, and give you the opportunity to train for a job. All of these services are available at no cost to you. Visit us today, www.joblink.alabama.gov. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Labor, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
No representation is made that legal services performed are greater than the quality of legal services of others.
It's time for another visit with David J. Maloney here in the iHeart Studios. It's good to see you again.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me again.
So since the last time you were here, I've been thinking about the way things have changed. What's become of the profession of personal injury law? To me, most of it seems rather impersonal.
It's different than what it was before, where the way that I handle things when I represent a client or when I'm going to be meeting with a client new is I prefer to return their call personally, speak with them personally, give them a little bit of advice on the phone, schedule them me personally.
All right, stand by Facebook. And we're back. We're back here on the CW55, Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life, the final week of Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. And Ariel, the video producer of the show, has gone downstairs. She's limping dramatically, going downstairs to get the Distinguished Young Women of America. We have some Distinguished Young Women of America contestants that are coming in to join us here on the Uncle Henry Show. So you'll get to see them. Yesterday you didn't get to see them. They were not here early enough, but you, the TV viewer, will get to see the Distinguished Young Women of America in our final segment of the program. And if I think we're getting Iowa, Kentucky, and New Jersey today on the Uncle Henry Show. So you have that excitement. Yesterday was the Wenzel's visit where they eat oysters. So, and I hear them approaching, so here they come into the room. All right, come on in. Come on in, young ladies. Good morning, good morning. All right, two of you take a seat here, and then one of you over here. We are live on television right now on the CW55. And let's see, I was told we were going to have Iowa, Kentucky, and New Jersey here today.
Yes.
All right, now you are?
New Jersey.
You are New Jersey's
Yes.
Distinguished Young Woman of America. What do you think of Mobile, Alabama?
I really like the area. I'm not going to lie, before I came here, I was expecting dirt roads and country. I know.
We've got that.
I
We've
know.
got that.
And like I peeked out the airplane and I was like, oh no. But I will say when I got here, it completely amazed me. It's so beautiful.
Now, did you go to Dolphin Island?
Yeah, we did.
So you passed some dirt roads, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
on
that
your way.
it wasn't that bad. It was like Hawaii dirt roads.
Hawaii dirt roads?
Yeah, because there was the palm trees and stuff, and the scenery was really beautiful.
Okay, and we also have Iowa and Kentucky.
Yes, I'm Iowa.
You are Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay, and Iowa is a little different than Mobile.
Yeah, it is quite different from Mobile, especially in the landscape. I was mostly cornfield, so this is a big change for me, especially with the humidity and all the rain.
I bet. Now, Kentucky, a little different, but not that much.
Mm-hmm. Kentucky, at some parts of Mobile, I start thinking to myself, this looks just like my hometown. And I think maybe it's just the Walmart. I see that and I'm like, oh, must be my hometown. But overall, it's just a very nice and homey feeling city.
Okay. Now, if I could get both of you to slide in that direction a little bit more so we can get you more on camera, and you can move your microphones with you. Stand by. We're about to go back to radio here. Welcome back. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 The Jag. Also, you can watch on the CW55, and here in our last segment of the TV show, you have some people to look at. We have Distinguished Young Women of America with us from Iowa, Kentucky, and New Jersey. I want to thank you all for coming in. Now, we've got the oyster eating contest yesterday at Wenzel's. So, Iowa, did you eat oysters?
I did not eat any oysters. I was not feeling that adventurous, and I heard that last year a girl got sick from eating too many oysters, so I wasn't going to try my chances.
You did not? Oh, no. All right. Well, Kentucky, did you eat any oysters?
I'm sorry to disappoint.
Oh, no.
But
what's going on?
No, we have
I
New
ate
Jersey.
oysters. I ate oysters.
New Jersey. New Jersey. Did you eat oysters at Wenzel's?
Yes, I entered the contest, but once I saw people just like shoving them in their mouth, I was like, okay, I already lost. So I just enjoyed my meal. I ate about 10. So.
All right. Now, who won? Do you know who won?
Yes, Olivia from Georgia.
Oh, so Olivia, and she was here on the show. She was on the show last week. She was on here Friday. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
she
congratulations.
Got 57.
57 oysters.
In 5 minutes.
Champ she is.
Is she okay?
She started crying.
Yeah, she was crying.
She started
halfway
crying.
through, Yeah.
Was it out of joy, or was it
know.
some type of trauma from eating that many oysters?
It might have been
trauma,
because it was before the competition was even over.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But I threw
She was
in-
probably regretting a little bit, but then she pulled through.
Well,
so.
she won.
Yes.
She's got that to point to in the future. Now, you, the viewer, need to understand that community night is Wednesday night, so you can go at 5 o'clock to the Civic Center, and you can get autographs with the distinguished young women before they go into a night of competition. That's Wednesday night at 5 o'clock, and of course you can you can get tickets to these different nights of competition, or you can purchase on their website the ability to watch online if you want to watch the Distinguished Young Women competition online. So you can go in person or watch online. Now, Kentucky, what's the most challenging part of this whole competition?
It would have to be getting over the fact that it is a competition. You know, they bring us in for 2 weeks, they pamper us so well, and the whole point is to really take in and soak in the experience. And you are making 50 new wonderful friends and girls who are just like you. So if you focus too much on the fact that it's a competition, you might get caught up in the loop of trying to overwork yourself or stress yourself over little things. So I think that's been the hardest part for me, just, you know, living in the moment and not thinking about what the competition might be.
New Jersey, what do you think is the most challenging part of this competition for you?
Waking up on time.
That's true.
Because it is my summer vacation, and I just got out of school, and it's hard to wake up around 6 every morning. So, and then to be prepared, like, you know, we have to present ourselves at 6 in the morning and be ready. And we have long, busy, packed schedules, so it's definitely hard to keep going after waking up so early, but it's all worth it in the end.
Now, we're here with Iowa, Kentucky, and New Jersey, and they, out of all of the distinguished young women that I've talked to, they seem to be keeping it real. They're really keeping it real here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Iowa, what has been the most challenging aspect of the competition for you?
I agree that it's not only waking up, but just keeping a positive attitude through our long rehearsals, because that's what makes the rehearsals bearable, and just keeping a lively atmosphere, which it hasn't been super hard to, but it's just you always have to remind yourself that it's important to keep up that positivity.
Iowa, is it physically challenging?
Yes, it is pretty physically challenging, but it's not impossible, and it feels less impossible because you have 50 other girls who are now your friends doing it with you, and it's just like a positive atmosphere that's uplifting.
New Jersey, that fitness portion, every distinguished young woman that's come in here has had something to say about it.
Yes. It's a little rough, especially for me. I'm not a dancer, and I'm not that flexible, so it definitely pushed me out my comfort zone, but I will say that in the long run, I think it's helping me. I think it's helping me definitely stay in shape, and you just got to push through it and smile it out. If not, you'll have a miserable time, but it's fun. Like she said, with the 50 other girls, it definitely motivates us to keep going, and we cheer each other on so that everybody can work through it, because we know our bodies are sore, but we're all like, keep going, so it's definitely fun to do.
Kentucky, we had a tropical storm.
Right.
So did you have to stay inside for a week?
Yes. Our plans got canceled. We originally wanted to go to Camp Grace and the Battleship, but unfortunately we couldn't because of unsafe conditions, which is super unfortunate. But, you know, it's all part of Mobile. Coming here, our host mom texted us and told us it's the rainiest city in all of the Americas, in all of America, and, you know, I came prepared, and it's okay.
Okay. Well, you got to. I'm sure even though you were rained out for a lot of last week, you still got to meet a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what do you think of the New Jersey? You told us a few minutes ago when we were just on television and not radio that you had a preconceived idea of Mobile, Alabama, the state of Alabama. There was going to be a bunch of dirt roads. What do you think of the people here?
Well, everyone here is so nice. I can honestly say that the Southern hospitality is real because everywhere we go, we get smiles and questions. Even on my flight down here, there were so many people wondering, like, oh, are you a junior miss? I'm like, no, it's Distinguished Young Woman now. And they were just like, oh, wow, my daughter did this. And, like, it's so crazy to see how everyone's kind of connected. So I really enjoyed, and I still am enjoying my experience here with all the people and meeting and hearing all their stories and all the support that they're giving us in the area. It's just awesome.
Okay, we're about to come to the end of this hour, and if you three don't mind, could you stay for just a little while longer to go into the next hour of the show? Because I'd like to ask you just a little bit about your future plans beyond this program, Distinguished Young Women of America. And again, for you, the TV viewer, you can go Wednesday night, get autographs at 5 o'clock at the Civic Center, and then you have nights of competition you can get tickets to or watch online. All right, thank you for watching. We'll continue this on radio and on Facebook in the next hour.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find